Here. It's great. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
Right, so we'll go in front. It's all good.
Are you on this side normally?
It's all good. Don't worry.
Congregation Journey in Castro Valley, California. Do you want me to give direction?
Yeah, you can. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, good evening. I'm David Cherry.
Hi, David. Brian Zach.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Designated board member who gets to read the announcements is in here, just sitting behind me here. So,
Great.
and I'll be following your lead on all my business meetings we do. So,
All right.
I've been coming for California, but I don't feel like I don't know any converts or anything.
I understand. I
I'll take
understand.
your cue.
We'll do this together.
Wonderful. I like that.
I believe it's like she's taking the lead. We'll do cottage. Or do you want me?
You could do cottage.
See, is there a
Yeah.
specific min file?
We would just read the recently deceased and the Yorksites.
And if anybody,
And then if anyone has any other
and
names.
everybody rides together if it's their custom.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to our Shabbat service. Now, if I may ask everyone, would you please take out your cell phones and make sure that they are on silent or turned off so as to not disturb our worship service this evening? I'm David Cherry, and it's my honor to share with you some of the events happening here at CNT. As always, we have lots going on, so please check the newsletter. We have some copies outside in the lobby if you need one on the way out, or you can always find more information on our temple website. And so we'd ask you to please go online or find the newsletter so you can find out more. But here's just a little bit of what's going on in the coming weeks. First off, we'd like to welcome all of our visitors tonight. If you would like more information about our temple, please take a blue cup after the service, and someone from membership will be happy to come and answer your questions. Also, the congregation is looking for a few good techies, so we would love to have some volunteers for the audio-video room during our Friday night services and some of our Saturday morning B'nai Mitzvah. So if you'd like to volunteer your time, if you're a techie, please contact Beth Bowman in the temple office for all the details at 733-6292, extension 205. Also, please mark your calendars. This is going to be fun. Next Friday night is going to be our big Hanukkah celebration. That's Friday, December 11th. That's beginning at 6:15 p.m. And we're going to start, we'll have the Shabbatones. So if you've never had a chance to hear the Shabbatones, they are just a wonderful addition to our services. And then we're going to be following that with our Miracle of Latkes Nosh. So if you're looking forward to having your Hanukkah latkes, please join us next Friday. The one thing is we ask that you please RSVP by this Monday, December the 7th, if you'd like to be a part of our Miracle of Latkes Nosh and hear the Shabbatones. Also, our Senior Social Club is going to be meeting on Wednesday, December the 9th. Our pre-K kids from the Cantor Early Childhood Education Center will be singing at noon. And this is a wonderful annual event if you've never had a chance to join us. So please arrive by 11:45 a.m. so we can get everyone checked in before noon. And right afterwards, we'll have a lunch. And our lunch guest speaker is going to be Andrew Kerr, who is the planetarium manager for the College of Southern Nevada. And Andrew will discuss space exploration. So if you have an interest in that, please make sure that you put that on your calendar. And again, we're asking you to please RSVP by this Monday, the 7th, to Joyce. Caregivers Support Group is going to be meeting on Sunday, December the 13th at noon in the Administrative Office Conference Room. And please call us with any questions. Again, the temple number here is 733-6292. And finally, the congregation will be hosting Family Promise the week of Sunday, December 27th until Sunday, January the 3rd. And this is a really meaningful program and a meaningful opportunity for you to be a part of really giving back to our community. Family Promise is a program that helps homeless families here in the Valley get back on their feet. And what we're asking is we need families who are willing to sleep over at the temple as well as to make dinner for the families. And those families will be invited in to come to the congregation, to come here to the temple, and we'll provide them somewhere to stay, and we'll provide them with meals. So if you're interested in volunteering for that, we'd also ask that you please call Beth again at the temple office. And again, that number is 733-6292. So I know that's a lot to remember, but if you'd like more information, please see me after the services, or again, go online or check out our newsletter in the lobby. So thank you so much, everyone.
Shabbat, we light the lights of Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom, may you have a peaceful day. Shabbat Shalom, may you have a restful day. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. We call to the Bima, Joyce, and Eileen to light the Shabbat candles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat lehadlik ner shel Shabbat lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. May you have a peaceful day. Shabbat Shalom. May you have a restful day. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. All right. We have a special blessing for Joyce because it was her birthday this week. So I have a little blessing for you. You can say it if you want to. Okay. Go ahead and just don't trip. Thanks. Sit over here. Okay. It's all right. You're fine. All right. So, Joyce is a figure in our community, and everybody knows her. And if you don't know her, when you meet her for the first time, you fall in love with her instantly. And why is that? Because she honestly cares about people, no matter who they are. She runs our senior activities here at CNT and makes it fun for everyone. Joyce is a pillar to her family and her community, and this week, she turned 84 years old. Or young, yes. Mm-hmm. So may we all be as strong and vibrant and youthful in spirit at 84 years young. And last month, at 83, it's been 2 months now, she became bat mitzvah when she was called to the Torah at Simchat Torah for an aliyah. So she's quite an impressive lady. And tonight on her birthday, I wanted to give her a special blessing. So these special words are just for you. Let's open the Bible. So can everyone rise so we can give her a special blessing? We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. We give of your wisdom, of flesh and blood. Baruch atah Adonai, melech ha'olam, shenatan mechokmato, bebasar v'dam. Author of life, our times are in your hand. We thank you for the blessing of life and for everything that enriches our lives. We turn to you now with special gratitude to share in the happiness of Joyce as she marks this 84th birthday. Be with her now and always. May she be blessed with health and happiness, and with strength to overcome sickness and sorrow. As we honor Joyce for the gifts that she brings to this sacred community, we pray each day brings abundance of blessing. We should give her a little Simon Tov and Mazel Tov, don't you think? All right. Simon Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Simon Tov, Simon Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Simon Tov, Simon Tov and Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov and Simon Tov. Yehelanu, 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 Ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael. All right. You can be seated for a moment, I'm sure. So I want to introduce you to someone very special. As you can see, we are missing Rabbi Axelrod, and we hope that he is enjoying the very beginning of his sabbatical, which will last until March. He'll be back in March. And in the meantime, some of the services I'll be doing on my own, but tonight we are lucky and blessed enough to have Brian Zive, who is an HUC rabbinic student, and he and I actually met in cantorial school, so you'll have to figure that one out later. We reconnected at Biennial last month, which you learned about our last service. And so when I saw him and he said, "I'm coming into town to see Andre Bocelli," I said, "Well, you can't get away that easy. You got to come to services." So we welcome him here, and he studies in Los Angeles, and we're glad that he's here, and we hope that we're excited to pray with him. We hope that he comes back and gives us his gift of song and word again. So
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom.
So we're going to begin with a word of blessing on 124. We read responsively at the bottom. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship.
May welcome all who have care to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity.
Threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
We turn to page 138 for Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki hi mekor
מחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. We rise to greet the Shabbat bride, verse 9. בואי ושלום עצרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובסולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Please be seated.
Page 142. 142. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Borchem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on the ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. V'yet Ramah, v'yet Naseh, v'yet Hadar, v'yet Aleh, v'yet Allah, Shemei Dekudesha Brichu, Le'olam Linkol Birchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata v'ne'emata, Tamiram be'alma, v'meru. please rise for the Baruchu, page 146.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed. Yalai, 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 yalai,
Page 149. Let us read together. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is an hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the borders of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over?
Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzavaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamidim loch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Hamari v'aravim.
The bottom of page 151. We read responsively again. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol.
These things your Torah gives to us.
And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives.
What could be a truer token of your abiding love?
Than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form.
Ve'avatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
I have a couple of special helpers for Shema tonight. That's you. Wait, let's go in the front, 'cause you can't come with the sleep. Gonna help too? Okay. Here we go. You guys ready? We'll cover our eyes. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Kevod le'olam va'ed.
You can be seated. We continue with Ve'ahavta on page 154.
Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meotecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha shartam leot ayadecha v'hayu letotafot v'hineinecha uchtavtam hamezuzah beitecha uv'yisharecha Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti atem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God.
Page 157. We read responsibly at the top of the page. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot.
That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness.
That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. And together we march by singing this prayer of redemption, this prayer of freedom, Michamocha, page 158. Lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. Lai, 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 yai, lai, lai, lai. We can all try that. They're very easy words. Lai, lai, lai. Let's try that again. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot oseh pelech. Nora tehilot oseh pelech. Adonai imloch leolam ba'ed.
bottom of page 161. We read together. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Ve'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukkot shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukkot shlomecha. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
All right, so we learned this 2 weeks ago. It's a special new Vishamru that I learned at biennial. And the cool part that you're going to really think is the easy part is the part where you repeat after me. So that part goes something like this. So I'll say something like, Baini, and you go, and I'll go, Uvain. And then we all do this really cool slide. B'nai Yisrael. Can you try that? B'nai Yisrael. All right, so pretty much that's like the part you need to know. When I sing, you sing back. The chorus you'll get after the first time. It's really easy. And if you remember it from a couple weeks ago, you'll catch on. Again, it's very simple. All right. So we're on Vishamru, page 162.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam berit olam.
Let's try it together.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam berit olam.
Here comes call and response.
Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael.
OT.
OT OT leolam.
Vishamru.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam berit olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim vet haaretz. Got a tongue twister there. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash. Last time. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et hashavat la'asot et hashavat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam berit olam. So Magnolia she's ready for next week. We're getting ready because we're going to do this. The religious school is going to help. We have a whole dance that we choreograph. So she was like, she remembered the whole dance, but only did it once. She's a genius. So she was doing it. I should have had her come up and do it for all of you. It's a great dance. But you'll have to wait for next week for the dance. All right. So we prepare our minds and our hearts for Amidah. We pray as if everything depended on God and act as if everything depended on you. Please rise on page 164.
תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor B'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Kanei Hakol, V'Zocher Hastei Advot V'Imechot, U'Mevi Ge'olam Li'ivnei V'neihem, V'Ma'an Shemo Me'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magein, Baruch atah Adonai, Magein, Avraham v'Yitzchak Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah Rav le'Hoshia, Mashiv haruach, Marim haGashem, Mechalel Chaim bel Chesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim ramim. Somech noflim ve'ofer holim, Matir asurim.
kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
We continue in silent devotion using either the words on the right side of the page or the left side of the page or the words within our hearts through page 180. And we've completed our prayers. We can be seated.
meditations of my heart be acceptable before thee. Adonai, my rock and my redeemer.
At this time, we think of those who are in the bed of illness that need our prayer. There are many who have no one to pray for them, and we think of them as well. So at this time, if you have someones that you're thinking of, please rise and say their names. We rise together in solidarity with prayers to all who need healing and comfort at this time.
Misheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
So you could be seated for now, but you're going to stand up in a second again. So you may have noticed there's a tiny baby in the room tonight, a very tiny baby. Her name's Chloe, and she is going to get her Hebrew name tonight, and she's been waiting very patiently. I'm pretty impressed. So we're going to call her up now with her parents to be blessed in front of the ark and to receive her official name. As I prepare to enter you, Chloe, into a sacred covenant with your people and with God, I think about your life and your future and the hope for tomorrow. The world we live in may cloud the mind's eye, but we have the potential to be the light in the storm. Chloe, the name we give you today is Chaya, May you be like your name, a life force, thriving, excited for your journey. May you embody the attributes of those who came before you and the women who are strong and vibrant in your life, like your great-grandmas, Rhoda and Joyce. They had conditional and have conditional love for their children, for Judaism. May you give pride to your parents, Don and O'Shea. May your grandparents, Sandy and David, and all of your family who has loved you before you were ever born. Through your life, we hope for only goodness and wonder. We wish for you to be a person of character, strong but not tough, gentle but not weak. We wish for you to be righteous but not self-righteous, honest but not unforgiving. Whenever you journey, may your steps be firm, and may you walk in just paths and not be afraid. Whenever you speak, may your words be words of wisdom and friendship. May your hands build and your heart preserve what is good and beautiful in our world. May the voices of the generations of our people move through you, and may the God of our ancestors be your God as well. May you know that there is a people, a rich heritage to which you belong, and from that sacred place, you are connected to all who dwell on earth. May the stories of our people be upon your heart, and the grace of the Torah, the rhythm dance within your soul. Your world is full of possibility, and we can't wait to watch you go out and celebrate it. Kashem shenichnaseh labrit kain tikanes letorah ulechuppah ulma'asim tovim. As this child has been entered into the covenant, so may she be entered into a life enriched by Torah, a chuppah of love, and a life committed to creating a better world. So we welcome you, Chaya Bat Dina Razel. So at this time of the Talit, it's magic. We're going to rise again as we bless her. I wrap you in a talit, an embracing symbol between God and the Jewish people. There are tzitzit that are at every corner. Today, we envelop you in the folds of the talit to give Chloe a welcoming to this covenant and to bless you as a family with all things good.
רוחות הבאות תחת כנפי השכינה, ברוכים הבאים תחת כנפי השכינה. May you be blessed beneath the wings of Shekhinah. Be blessed with love, be blessed with peace. May you be blessed beneath the wings of Shekhinah. Be blessed with love, be blessed with peace. Mazel tov.
And this is for you. So now she has this to be framed and put up with her Hebrew name on it and her English name. And it will hopefully go with a lot of things to come, like a bat mitzvah certificate and a wedding certificate, all good things. This will be ketubah. And all these wonderful things. So this is just the beginning, and we look forward to watching this wonderful life. His boyfriend.
Yeah, she is. Nice name for the
Yeah, that's a cute one.
See?
That's my boyfriend. All right. Thank you. You can be seated.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We have my wife and I have a 4-month-old at home in Los Angeles, so I hope that you're sleeping just a little more than we are. See, we came to Las Vegas to rest. And because we do everything backwards, of course, if I had a nickel for every single rabbi that came into town and decided, on Friday night, I think I'm going to come to temple to lead services, I think we'd all be about a nickel richer. So, but thank you for welcoming me into your home tonight. It is a pleasure and an honor. Thank you, Cantor, for the invitation. It has been such a lovely evening, and to welcome Chloe, was it, into our conference. It was a beautiful Sunday morning in Los Angeles, the kind of crisp morning present after an overnight rain. Mark woke up at 6:30 a.m., took a shower, drank a cup of coffee, and indulged in a sliver of the decadent chocolate cake left over from their dinner party the night before. He got into his Mustang convertible, most certainly his fun weekend car, and began his routine Sunday morning cruise with the top down on Mulholland Drive atop the Santa Monica Mountains. The music blasted. The sun beat down upon him and the wind blew through his hair, at least all the hair he had left. Everything continued as planned until rocks began falling down the side of the mountain onto the road, forcing Mark to swerve out of control across the windy 2-lane road. One moment, he was enjoying life, and with the blink of an eye, Mark's car was hanging off the side of a deep cliff near Benedict Canyon. He closed his eyes, and he thought to himself, "Please, God, don't let me die today." Why did Mark address God at that time, in that place? How did he know that God was with him, with his life literally hanging by a thread? God's presence in our world is truly in the eye of the beholder. While there are times we feel an acute absence of God in our lives, there are also times that we are keenly aware of God's presence. More often than not, it is in times of distress and tragedy that we turn to be discovered by God rather than in times of blessing. Our patriarch, Jacob, is the quintessential model of such relationship. When Jacob leaves home, again, he is about to confront his brother Esau after 20 years. Jacob prays to God for protection and blessing. Yet, when we arrive at this week's Parshat Vayeshev, and read the opening lines of the Torah portion, namely that Jacob was now settled in the land where his father had sojourned, the land of Canaan, one would expect Jacob to utter some prayer of thanksgiving after pulling through tragedy after tragedy. For example, stealing the blessing from his brother, fleeing home, suffering the deceit of his uncle, wrestling with a mysterious assailant, and living through the unfortunate, to say the least, incident of his daughter, Dinah. One would expect at a minimum an acknowledgement of God's work in his life, especially when he is settled. Sadly, the entire opening chapter of Parshat Vayeshev contains not one mention of God. We know God is acting in the background, but at the same time, we are without explicit reference. So where and how do we find God? The rabbis are masterful in not only finding God in Torah, but literally hearing the voice of God in the text. So, though our patriarch Jacob is somewhat neglectful, the rabbis do teshuvah, repentance, on his behalf. As close readers of Torah, the rabbis of the Midrash find God in a place that we would least expect God to be. Jacob naively requests that his favored son Joseph check on the welfare of his brothers. Joseph seeks out his brothers, and with the help of an anonymous man who sends him to Dothan. And upon his approach, his brothers scheme, declaring, "Here comes that dreamer. Now come and let's kill him. And we will cast him into one of those pits, and we will say a wild beast ate him, and we will see what becomes then of his dreams." Rashi, the prolific 12th century commentator, quotes a compelling midrash of Rabbi Yitzchak, who comments, "This verse declares, 'Explain me.' And it is God who says that the latter part of the verse. They, meaning the brothers, say, 'Let us kill him.' And the verse ends, 'We will see what happens to his dreams.' That is to say, God says, 'We will see if my decree prevails or theirs.' And it is impossible to say that the brothers say the latter part of this verse because by virtue of killing their brother Joseph, they know full well that their own dreams will be nullified. Precisely where one would least expect to find God, we, the readers of Torah, not only find God, but are privileged to hear the voice of God speaking to us from the scroll. 2 lessons, at least, are to be derived from our parsha this week. First is learning the value of communication with God, not only in times of need, but also in times of fortune. Our patriarch Jacob, upon becoming settled, would have done well to express his gratitude to God. Second is the importance of being a deliberate reader of Torah. Now, I don't mean that we all must open up the scroll and be able to read it flawlessly, but I suggest that we read the narratives as a guide with intention. We have the ability, if we read sensitively and carefully enough, to literally hear the voice of God speaking to us through the text. In numerous places in the Torah, we are attentive. If we are attentive, we can hear God not only speaking to our ancestors, but also to us. For God's presence is not only in the heavens, it is here on earth within our own midst. Perhaps subconsciously, that is what went through Mark's head on that faithful day. Thankfully, emergency responders were able to retrieve the car and save Mark's life. Did God save him that day? Were his prayers answered? Perhaps we'll never know. But at the very least, he may believe so. May we, on this Shabbat, be cognizant of what's around us, both the physical and the divine, and attempt to recognize God's presence, especially in times of thanksgiving and beauty, just as we had tonight with our 2 blessings. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. Amen.
We begin to conclude our service on page 586 with Aleinu. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tei gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'na הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Exactly. Please be seated.
Our thoughts turn to those who have departed our earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. This Shabbat, we remember and keep in our hearts Arnold Espin, Agnes Kritzler-Janovitz, Milton Kranitz, Shirley Gellin, Helen Davidov, Fred Lewishson. And observing Yahrzeit this week. And if I mispronounce your name, please forgive me. Erwin Appel, Julius Carmison, Leonard Gersh Cohen, Nancy Colon, Stanley Cooper, Saul Delval, Jacob Bryce Eaton, Kenneth Enton, Ruth Falk, Edmund Frank, Louis Gale, Helen Golovner, Kitty Gutterman, Harold Jolson, Thelma Kaplan, Roz Katz, Gertrude Kirschbaum, Lena Cranston, Emery Kritzler, Louis Marr, Eleanor M. Matza, Michael Rajovic, Anne Recklin, Irving Reutman, Alvin Rosen, Sarah Schiffman, Molly Selnick, Rivka Sendro, Hyman Silver, Rose Stahl, Betty Ratner Truenbach, Howard Waltman, Annette Waterman, Shirley Waxler, Minnie Weiner, Ray Winnick, Leon Yanofsky, and Ida Zuckerman. If there is a name that I have not read, or anybody that wishes to say the name of someone they'd like to remember, please feel free to rise and say their names aloud as my eyes meet yours.
We rise together for Kaddish on page 598.
Yitgadal,
V'yitkadash
V'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divarach Hirutei, V'yamlich Malchutei, V'chayechon V'yomechon, V'chaye D'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agalau V'zman Kari V'imru Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam Ul Almei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shalom rabba min shamaya V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru.
Amen.
We say zichronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing. Amen. You may be seated.
At this time, we call Sandy and David, Chloe's grandparents, and let's see, Joyce, her great-grandmother, and her parent. Well, let's just call the whole family up. That's what's on here. Dawn and O'Shea as well, and Chloe. And I think we might have more than that. So why don't we bring up anyone who's in our religious school or under the age of bar or bat mitzvah to join us for Kiddush. If you want to follow along, it's on page 123.
Eloheinu melech haolam, borei brei hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kisanu mitzvotav, v'ratza banu, v'shavach kodsho, v'yahav uratzon, v'chilanu. Zikaron na'aseh b'reishit, ki hu yom tekilah l'mikroei kodesh, zecher liyat Mitzrayim, ki banu b'chata, v'yatanu kidashta, michohamim, Shabbat Kodecha, Yahavaru Bratzon, Inchatanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
All right, so we want to thank Brian for being here. And it was really nice to have someone to share the bima with, although, of course, we miss Rabbi, but we'll see him soon. And he's having a very nice Shabbat dinner tonight. He sent me a picture. And a couple of announcements that are really important for the next couple of months. So next week, obviously, Hanukkah Shabbat. We're doing something really fun. We have all the kids participating. We have the band, the Shabbatones. And then I know we already announced it, but just to say again, we have the Miracle of Latkes. It's our little nosh dinner that we're going to be having, like a latke bar. It's going to be super fun. So please do RSVP for that by Monday, because I hear they're raising the price on Tuesday. So if you want to get your deal, do it by Monday. January 15th, we have Saul K. coming back. He was here last May. He'll be joining us for our service, and then we're going to be launching a new service called Shabbat After Dark, which is a 20s and 30s service for our Next Gen group. And that will be in this room, and he'll be part of that as well. So it should be a really exciting night, but please join us. Is there anything else you want to add about that night? Yeah. So it'll be a really fun night. So make sure you mark your calendars now for that, January 15th. And then looking even further ahead, this has not been named yet, but if you know what a Shabbaton is, not our band. We're not going to name it a Shabbaton because I know it's very confusing with the band being called Shabbatons. But we're going to call it like a Shabbatication. So basically, you're going to spend the whole Shabbat here at the temple other than going home to sleep. And we're having Amy Robinson and Hallelujah. It's a very cool meditative chant-like Shabbat. And we have Rabbi Stephen Einstein coming back. He was here for my installation. He'll be coming back. And that's on my birthday weekend, which is February 12th and 13th. And it's going to be a really great experience with Hallelujah on Friday night, Rabbi Einstein on Saturday morning, special Kiddush lunch, and then we're going to have a special Havdalah and movie night. It's going to be really great, and Amy's going to be part of that as well. So you're not going to want to miss that. So those are two things to mark on your calendars for January and February. So January 15th, February 12th and 13th, and, of course, next Friday night. So lots of cool stuff happening here because #CNT is the place to be, right? And they're going to get new hashtags this month in the bulletin, so very exciting about that. Look at Jackie's bulletin. All right, we conclude with Oseh Shalom, and please join us afterward for a special cake and in celebration of birthday and of baby naming, and to join and gather and meet somebody you don't already know, because I see some new faces here tonight, so make sure. Actually, since I already said that, if you're new to CNT or if you're just visiting tonight, could you raise your hand? All right, very nice. Very nice. Okay, so these are the people that you want to look for and introduce yourself at the Oneg. Okay, we want to welcome them to our community and say Shabbat Shalom and get to know them. Okay, so and come meet me as well. All right, very nice. Oseh Shalom. Just do a
Oseh Shalom Bimromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imeru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru Amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael Ve'imeru Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Torah study at 8:45. Brian will be leading it, and Minion at 9:45. I'll be leading that, so please join us.
There was a rabbi here a few years ago as an assistant or something. Her name was Rabbi Adar. She was from San Francisco, and I loved her. I don't know if she wasn't given an offer or she chose to go back to San Francisco, and then she went. And then we got a rabbi for a couple of years who went back to where she